what's going on today.
Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Thanks, Scott. Hello, Andy.
Hey, Steve. Hi, Scott. Hi, everybody.
Yep. These Tuesday webinars every other week, they still creep up fast. Time is going by so fast. Anyway, welcome to the Trade of the Week webinar on the off week. I see some of the regulars in there saying hello. Hello, everybody. David, Randy, Dave, Mike C. Let's get started. As people file into the room, just a reminder that we are a software as a subscription service company, and Andy and myself are longtime users, also employees now, and we also trade our own accounts. So we'll talk about a lot of charts today and a lot of things, but these are really our opinions only, and should not be construed as us telling you to go out and buy them for financial advice. Can't really do that, but we can talk about things and look at charts, and that's what we're going to do today. A lot of them actually. Reminder for the new users. It's a very rich product. A lot of things you can do on this platform, and it doesn't really come to you overnight. And the way in which you want to get this program to work for you, it takes a little bit of time, and we offer a lot of hand-holding here. It's primarily Barry's live trading room. They're doing a lot of trading in there, a lot of day trading and scalping, and he also helps with software support and anything like that. But the real support does come at you twice a day, 12 p.m. Eastern and 3:30 Eastern. That same live stream that Barry uses is taken over by one of us, 5 or 6 of us guys here, and we just kind of talk about whatever you want to talk about. You send us questions, and we will answer them and demonstrate them for you in real time. So you're never really alone here with us with Trade Ideas. We try and make it as accessible as possible for you guys. If you're not aware of those, please do drop by and come get some visual instruction. The way in which you can do that, of course, is this link right there. Just add the /live to our website. That'll redirect you to the live stream on YouTube that we're doing every day. So don't miss those out. If you're not aware of them, you're going to want to reach out and get up to speed quickly and shorten your learning curve. Just a reminder that one of our new features, we've got a lot of new features coming out this spring, stock racing being one of them. And we're really warming up to it over here in our approach. You guys have seen Barry use it every day. Chris has been using it. If you're somebody who really likes to scalp and play the action and you're a quick person, stock racing is for you. Swing trading is probably a little different animal, but like I said, this platform can do whatever you want it to do, whatever time frame you're playing in. So if you're a quick scalp trader and you like to trade right after the bell, stock racing is a really cool feature to try and see what's jumping out at you off of those top lists. Much easier way to visualize the data. Also, just a reminder, we've got an ebook from our CTO. He's now the director of technology now, Dave Mabe, and he's got an ebook on some of his strategies that I hear is a pretty good read. Matter of fact, probably a good segue. I don't speak to Dave much today, but he reached out to me today. He just wanted to let me know that they are clicking on all cylinders back there in the development department right now, and they're creating very quickly. And there's a lot of really cool, exciting things coming. I think some of them have already been talked about, pre-market, post-market. We're working on getting the charts there as well. Now, so we'll have a full range of pre and post-market. Our charts are no longer in the near future. Can't put a date on it, but our charts are going to be updating extremely fast, probably 2 or 3 ticks per second. I think a lot of people might like that as well. So I just had a nice conversation with Dave, and he's just letting us know that, hey, there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipeline. Remind people that we're working hard over here, and we're listening to your feature requests when we can. And the last little bit of really cool thing and this is way, way, way down the road, guys, but Dave actually showed me, we connected to some crypto servers. There's a lot of work to be done to try and format that to the way we want it to be, but maybe sometime next year we're talking about Trade Ideas and crypto, because it looks like the door is open and they're starting to really move in some of those new directions. Joseph, I don't have an example on racing today because it's a live market event. You want to definitely go to Barry's room in the morning or one of the afternoon sessions. I will be in the room tomorrow at noon. We can pull up some races and watch, but I think they're most valuable right after the opens. You can really see what's popping out of the gate right at the open. But I don't have any aftermarket examples for you, but yeah, stop by tomorrow. All right, let's get started today. Again, we're just going to look at a lot of charts today. I don't really have any new features to talk about other than what I just kind of teased you with there with my conversation with Dave. It was a very, very good conversation. I was glad to have that. He ironed out a few understandings for me to know that, yeah, we're cruising right along on some really good development stuff. But we're going to talk today about the things that myself and Andy see, and the trade of the week, two of them. And just the reminder that each week we remind you guys it's a symbiotic relationship. Trade Ideas is the tool, the technology, the AI, the machine, and we are the humans. And we work very well together. Independently, we don't work that well together. As a human, we would have no idea where to focus our attention. And the machine knows where to focus its attention, but really doesn't have any great idea on how to manage trades once the trade has been signaled, using our AI. So it really is a symbiotic relationship, and it always will be. Technology and humans together are the strongest relationship. People who come to us and say, hey, can I just subscribe and just turn on Holly and have it set up to interact with brokers and then go do my other job and come home and make money? And we said, no, it just doesn't work like that. And we're not going to tell you it works like that. We would be foolish to do that because that's just not a realistic expectation. Today, we're going to talk about market recap. There's really no AI recap to speak of. We got two trade of the weeks. One was a dud, one's doing good. We're going to focus on some sectors today. There's a bit of a theme that's kind of shaping up, I can see. And then we'll go right into a sector check, and we'll take a look and see which sectors are looking strong. And then I'm going to really just dive into the Market Explorer alerts, and just kind of walk through and think out loud so people can see, maybe why I pass on this. Oh, this is a nice looking chart. Let's go ahead and put a price alert on this chart. So we'll walk through dozens and dozens of charts from the Market Explorer, and anything that catches my eye, I'll let you know why. And same with Andy, he'll do the same thing. We'll mark them up, and we can even share that end of session cloud link with you. They'll have all of the triggers of all the stuff that we worked on together, so we can share those using the price alert cloud feature. So let's get started. We'll come back to that one probably a little later in the theme, but we're going to start with the SPY, okay? Yeah, we'll start with the S&P. This was an enormous day back here, okay? Why? Because in hindsight, we took out new lows. We blew through those lows. There was hardly any selling since the open. It was a complete upward movement that day. I'm going to call it a 90% day without even knowing for sure, because I can just tell that was a 90% day, meaning 90% of the S&P stocks made new highs that day. They were green, or they made a move that day. It was just a very solid, broad-based rally, and it seems like the market's trying to build on that. We came back down and a little bit of diciness down here, but I kind of thought we would retest that level, but we never did. I think what's going on again is we're still in a Fed-driven market, and we're watching inflation. We're watching the conflict over in Ukraine, and people are trying to figure out, well, how aggressive are they going to get, or are they going to backpedal and turn around and start easing it? Talking about maybe being a little bit dovish. Who knows? But the footprints in the sand do tell me something here, and that's interesting. It was the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days ending yesterday with a wonderful little cross doji there. I fully expected we were going to slam into this 200-day, and I fully expected we were going to get some pullback maybe back into this range here and just really try and digest that move. I was very surprised, honestly, today that we blew through that doji and through the 200-day moving average and closing on near close to highs. So we went from a market back here that was under pressure, and I was saying it's a seller's market, sell the rips. That's the way it was, all the way back to we're in clean air again. For those of you who don't know what I mean, clean air, we are back above all moving averages once again, just like that. And this is a crazy market right now. It's not easy. It's a wild animal. I fully expected us maybe to take a breather. So that's a good sign for strength. That's a good sign for the bulls. That's a very technically solid close today. Let's see what's going on over in the NASDAQ land, which is a bit weaker. Coming into today, you can see NASDAQ was a bit opposite. There was our 90% day in the NASDAQ, but we actually did come back and test that low. I think the market really, really enjoyed not having the stops run below that NASDAQ low, and the bidders just came back in. The shorts have to start screaming and scrambling and covering again. Wash, rinse, and repeat. But same thing. I'm kind of really surprised, if I just take out this one candle, that was yesterday's close. I really felt like we were being stymied and just hit a wall there at the declining 50-day moving average, and just like the S&P, I fully expected a couple of days of pullback, but we didn't get it. So that's kind of an interesting sight. Now, technically, the S&P is stronger than the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ is still under its 200-day. So the Nasdaq has been the weak player going into these last 6 months, we can say. But technically speaking, the Nasdaq's not quite in clean air yet, where the S&P SPY is back in clean air here. There's nothing above it in terms of a moving average to worry about. IWM small caps also under the 200, looks a bit more like the Nasdaq. It's probably going to do a little consolidation there, but yeah. Anything you want to add to what we're observing out there market wise, Andy?
Maybe just go to the SPYs and kind of just stretch it out a little bit. Possible, if you look at that pattern, maybe not that much, but I could see the potential, of developing maybe the next couple of days a second shoulder. You see that first shoulder going back in the 1st of October. Yeah, he's going to draw it there for you. I mean, here's my thing. I mean, for the most part, all of this year, except for the last 4 days, it's been a very, very bearish tape. And Steve is right. Things look a lot better now for the bulls, but man, I just, you just got to be careful because you hear bull traps and things like that. But he's right. I mean, I'm not fighting it by no means. I've been getting along with the rest of the people and enjoying it. But I am quick. In other words, I'm not jumping in stuff and saying, oh man, this is the bottom. I'm hanging on forever. So I think you got to be careful assuming. Just because we're above our moving averages that we're off to the new all-time new highs, because I think there's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely yesterday, not looking for a lot of new longs yesterday, just feeling like the market's ready for a pullback.
I was in the same camp with you. I thought, oh well, we're gonna tire it out here, but no, not the case.
But what we're gonna do coming up here is we're gonna look at the sectors first, and we're gonna find a little theme. But there's really nothing to write home about today in the AI, and Andy's also got some construction workers around there, so we're just gonna kind of bypass that today and just chalk it up as just one of the days. It's just a statistical day that didn't really stand out, and we'll look at some other charts. But what I want to do first is the theme of the webinar is, of course, trade of the week. And what I'm going to do here real quick is, some of the last many months, maybe 2 months, we've had a lot of names like VET, Newmont, Arch, okay, BTU. Come on, type it. Just locked up on me, BTU. There we go. And so if you can kind of see a pattern there, these were a lot of energy and oil names that were doing well. And so that's really where the focus has been to try and zero in on a top-down sector approach for a good trade of the week. Because let's face it, you guys know it, there's a lot of ugly charts out there that are just downtrend, and they're having a hard time. And those don't necessarily interest me. There's a couple, but for the most part, we want to find out where the action is. And so last week, we had trade of the week was RIG, and RIG was consolidating here, okay? And it was one of those special, hey, wait for a pullback. I think it was around like it was right around, I can't remember the number, but it was right around that 10-period moving average, just above it. We were looking for a nice pullback entry, and then ideally we would get a move higher off of that moving average. Well, what happened last week in the commodities and the energy sector was a vicious pullback. A lot of things pulled back a lot stronger than we anticipated. So technically speaking, this trade was entered and closed on the same day. The idea was to buy it on lean on that moving average and hopefully get a nice bounce, and we were off to the good news, but it just kept sinking, and the technical reason to sell and manage the risk on that trade was to not allow it to close below the 10 SMA. I could have even said, don't even let it close below the 20 SMA, but it still did that way down here. It was a vicious pullback. I'm going to do something here real quick. It's the DBC, okay? Invesco's Commodity Index Tracking Fund. So this is kind of like I said, a lot of the focus on commodities, energy included, oil included, really got ahead of themselves, and that was that fun period we had. But they also really pulled back pretty darn hard. But now they're back on the move again. So there's some intense volatility going on right now in that oil sector, and that rig trade, it just got caught up in a pretty vicious downdraft of overshooting correction. So you want to add something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I do. Going back to that rig trade, and this is where, guys, is kind of not man and machine, but man and trade of the week. So this is an idea. It was a great idea. Me and Steve kind of collaborated on this idea, and it's a big man. It'd be great if we get a rig to pull back to this 15 moving, 10 period moving average. But at that time, we have no idea. When he submits this to Scott, this is like on a Sunday. Okay, we have no idea the commodity's going to get hit, gap way down. So this is where you can kind of take this idea and put it in your head. I mean, it may be okay to give it a shot, but if you see all the commodities just getting, pummeled, maybe pull back and wait for a better entry, or maybe move on and say, I'm not going to take the trade of the week this week. So we're kind of, Steve's kind of, it's kind of difficult to, present this idea on a Sunday, because especially if it's a commodity and you have no idea how they're going to open up on Monday.
3 o'clock. Well,
Anyway.
they're going to open at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon.
Well,
West
that
Coast
too, yeah.
time. And
Yep,
so you had this
that's true.
all night, futures dive.
Right.
But I was just trying to say that we've been really staying in the theme of energy and metals and commodities, and I'm going to touch on this one too. We're going to look at MOO. MOO is the agricultural business ETF, and look at how that's been going. A couple of you know that I've been in a stock called RKDA. Not exactly a technical winner, but sometimes, as long as it stays above its key momentum, it's a story stock. And to me, the story, maybe you've heard the headlines, they're a little scary. Ukraine, Russia, Hungary, they're all holding on to their wheat exports, and people are talking about fertilizer shortages here, and starting to get a little scary headlines out there when it comes to agriculture and shortages and things like that. And so look at the footprints in the sand, lighting up some volume ideas on some of these smaller capped names. Andy got me into this one today. Here's another one, DNA, BioWorks, Profile, bio applications across food and agriculture. Okay, so I think this is a story that's brewing out there, guys. Look at the volume here in DNA. All right, this was a nice little trend, not a trend change, but a nice little change of lanes, I'm going to call it this morning. I've talked about this before. This was being dominated by the 10, but today, right there, we broke above and we closed above the 10. Now we want to get this 20 in our eyesights and see if we can start to build a base. And this might be one of those cases I'm not going to sell. Like Andy said a minute ago, I might just let this one sit in my account for a couple months if the story develops. Okay, you can't just hope for the story to develop. You've got to continually get updates from the chart and have the chart confirm the story. So where am I going with this? Agriculture. ADM was our trade of the week. And it was a no-brainer. Once I saw that chart, it had everything I wanted. It's got the story stock of flour milling, okay, wheat, flour. Beautiful move higher, higher lows, got ahead of itself, sideways consolidation, and we got some nice timing. The trading gods smiled on us. However, the entry was, I think, like right about there, so it was a bit of a gap up. I don't like it when they gap up that much, but it gives us an opportunity to revisit what happens when that does become the case. Let's look back at yesterday. So I say when we have a gap up, you got three options. Option number one is to buy the open and pray that it just rips and you were doing the right thing. Option number two is to wait and see if it wants to fill the gap completely. That should be option number three, actually. The third option is right here. This is what I like to do. I like to wait for the rising 10 SMA to come near the price and start to see what's going to happen when the rising SMA gets there. So really, you kind of had three opportunities, or you had two opportunities. It never pulled back. So you had to buy it on the open, or you had to wait. And this is the ideal one that I usually like to do. This is what I did today, by the way, in DNA. Just to switch back to DNA. Andy showed it to me. I said, hell no, I'm not chasing this thing up here. I had a bid in around 5:15. And then right here, I was starting to think, well, you know what? I really don't want to miss this trade. This is one of those story trades. And this is what I was looking at. I was like, okay, there's that 10 SMA. I'm not going to get anything better than 320. So you can see my buy tag right there at 320. But I love these setups in the morning. A big push, sideways action, and you wait for the moving average to kind of come out and see what it's going to do. So in the case of Archer Daniels, you had that one shot yesterday. If you didn't chase the open, you had that one shot, albeit it was higher. It'd be perfect if it would have opened right at our buy point and gone. I think what happens sometimes is if it's an early morning call, matter of fact, we can do that. We can look right now. We can see that if you really wanted to play around, it was in pre-market down here at our buy point. it was playing, it was right around here, I think. Yeah, 84.50-ish. Is that the number? 84.50, okay. Look at these other names. NTR, that's another one, okay. So we're staying in the agricultural and commodity names of the also watches, which I think some of those are doing pretty good as well. But yeah, ADM, no complaints. It's working. It's above our moving average. I see today as maybe kind of a pause after yesterday's big push. We could see a little further movement tomorrow and actually try and take out that wick back there. And if it does take that out and hold, that's an all-time high. You also know that I get a little nervous after 2 or 3 days of good movement. So if there is a really good push tomorrow and it does take out all-time highs, might be wise to maybe take half off of the table. Somebody's reminding me of Cisco. That was also, yeah, I'm sorry, CSIQ. CSIQ did the same thing. I actually traded this one okay, sold half up here. Then I thought, oh, this is going to hold. And then the next day it just caught me like a deer in the headlights. So I had to sell for like a flat. And now it's bouncing back up again. Very vicious, volatile action in the energy, commodity, and solar spaces right now. So what can you do? You can definitely lower your share size, which lowers your risk, lowers your exposure, and keeps you a little bit sane. Oh yeah, they put it on YouTube. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that, David. The trade of the week. Okay, so no reason to do anything with ADM tomorrow. Maybe take some profits if it does give us a nice push above all-time highs, and then maybe let the rest ride. But the idea is to just let it continue to ride the 10 and or the 20 higher until they can't do it anymore. But I think you guys know what I'm talking about out there. If you're seeing some of these headlines, some of these agriculture stocks could be starting to come into play. And there's that ETF moo. By the way, one of the things if you want to do, you could go ADM and you could say, well, I want to find some more of these stocks. How do I do that? Okay, so we'll just use the parent ADM. We'll go to our single stock window here, similar to ADM. And what do we got? We had some other ones in there. I was actually thinking of another one. Let me see, NTR. No, I was trying to figure out where I found RKDA. What I'm getting at here is I went through these similar to, okay, CTVA is another interesting one. This one's had a nice run too. Pesticide, agricultural. So you can, don't forget to type in symbols and then look at the similar tab. And you'll see there's CF. That's what I was doing. I was typing in CF. It was back here, which was also a trade of the week, I believe, and agriculture stock. So they're all, the theme is just continuing to move in the same direction. But I typed in CF and said, well, what else we got on here? I'd never heard of this. RKDA, what's this all about? Oh man, I saw it down here. And then fortunately I was in when that volume spike came and it just keeps grinding higher. So the point is we're focused on a sector, we're focused on stocks, agriculture, energy. Don't forget to use the similar tab over there in the single stock window. No, Erdem, there's never really any announcement during the day, but what we say in the email itself is, the risk management would be to not let the price of ADM close underneath the rising 20-day simple moving average right there. So we're using that red line as it comes up, brings up the rear, and will act as our support as we hopefully move higher. But once it's out, it's up to you to manage, and that's one of the things I try to talk about on these weekly, bi-weekly webinars is some of the best ways to manage, like how did you enter ADM when it gapped above its price? Well, sometimes that happens, but could be worse things to cry about. What about DBA? Yeah, we'll look at some charts at the end here. Invesco Agriculture Fund, yeah, that's a different one I haven't looked at. That's another ETF. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. All right, so those are the two trades of the week. First one didn't work out. The second one is working. A lot of volatility out there, but we're continuing, as you can see, for the last couple of months to focus on energy, agriculture, these types of plays that are working because they are working. And I think with that, I wanted to go next to the sector. Yeah, so trade of the week. Let's go to the sector check and see what we can see brewing in the sectors. Now, a lot of these are probably going to look the same as the major indexes, meaning they've had 4 or 5 days of good green candles, but I'm always looking for consolidation. I'm not looking to chase something. I want to see what might be ready to go next. Well, KWeb had quite a bottom action off there, but I'm going to stay away from the China stocks. Okay, here's software. It looks exactly like most of our index charts. 4 or 5 days of green, a pause day yesterday, and a push today. Kind of unusual to see that. XRT could be one worth watching. See how it's consolidating here and it hasn't moved higher. So that one might be worth watching. Maybe another day of consolidation, who knows? Jets, the airlines have also been consolidating, but they're still under some serious moving averages there. IBB, also consolidating after a big move. So, this next few days this week is going to be pretty crucial to see, how this is going to resolve. It's just, is it going to keep grinding higher, or are we going to get a little choppy? Okay, here's that MOO ETF. Obviously, we wouldn't want to chase this up here, but this just confirms that we're on the right track, I think, with agribusiness ETF, similar to the DBA, Dave, but this is a little different one, it looks like. So that's positive, but it's a bit overextended. Nothing really there for the banks and the financials that I can see. So far, retail looked okay. Airlines looked okay, just because they've had 3 or 4 days of consolidation. Yeah, the solars, boy, they got me on CSIQ. But the good news with solars is they are above a lot of their moving averages. They might be one to watch too. That's a pretty solid line right there. I'm going to actually go ahead and make a price alert out of that.
I actually bought for solar today.
For solar today, I remember you saying that. So that's going to be our first price alert, guys. It's just the actual solar sector right there. We'll go ahead and do that. Healthcare has definitely had a big push, and it's above all of its moving averages. XLV, huh? Interesting. So you could watch XLV for a flag pattern over the next couple of days and consolidate. And if this moving average comes up to catch it, that could be interesting. So far, XRT, XLV, and maybe the airlines seem like they're having some good consolidation. There's the commodity index, right? For a commodity, gold sure is hanging down there, not doing much. Yeah, that's not really what I'm saying. SLX got ahead of itself too. I was liking SLX earlier. Steel, interesting. Okay, yeah, good question, Martin. So this is my ETF scan. It's nothing more than just a simple top list. Okay, notice there's no filters, there's no alerts, there's nothing but a symbol list. A symbol list right there that I've pointed it towards. So, I mean, there's really nothing to share here. All you have to do is just build a brand new top list, a new top list window. And then more importantly, you want to come in and create your symbol list. My symbol list is ETFs. I've got 27 of them in there. And all I do is I just point this symbol list towards this top list window with no filters. And then I just double click and I sort change from close to see who's doing the best today. So it's real simple. If you need more help on that, you can always email us at info@trade-ideas.com.
You know what? I'll drop the scan and the symbol list into the chat window.
Do you have it too? You have the same one I do?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. And he's going to drop.
You're talking about the sector watch list, right?
Yeah, my ETF sectors. Yeah.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. Andy's got that. So yeah, he'll have the symbols for you. Just pay attention real quick here, Martin and Randy. You're going to go to Tools. You're going to go to Symbol List. You're going to create a new list. You're going to call that list whatever you want. And then once that list is there, you just go ahead and paste all those symbols or type them in all together. Hit OK. That's step one. Step two is when you've got the scan loaded up, you want to point that towards your symbol list. So you configure symbol list, you have to go here first. Add an existing list. You'll find the one that you just created, you enable it, and then you check it off right there. And it's only going to look at those symbols that you've created. And it's a very nice way to keep track of the sectors throughout the day, which also is another great feature for the car racing, is to see who's kind of heating up, during the day. All right, so with that said, a couple of sectors again. We thought healthcare, we thought retail, and maybe airlines might be consolidating nicely. Agriculture definitely got ahead of itself. But the reason I did that first is because I want to go through and finish up here. Got another 15 minutes or so, and go through the Market Explorer. Okay, for those who are not aware, it's a new feature. Under new, you go to MEE, Market Explorer. There's no configuration here, but it's been pre-built by some smart guys that are traders and know how to use math a little bit. And all you have to do is you have to right click and access the servers. And you can see these are pre-configured strategies that you can scan for. Now, there's a couple of them that are interesting to me, and I want to go through a lot of these charts. A lot of them I'll go through quickly, but some I'll stop on and I'll say why I like it, and we'll set up some price alerts. So right now we've really only got one price alert, which is the TAN ETF, which I forgot to mention. So that is now set in our price alert. So I'm going to add to this list here over the next 10, 12 minutes, and I'll share it at the end with the cloud link so everybody can load it for tomorrow's trading, and you'll have alerts going off that we've talked about today. And of course, Andy, if you see something that you like, you can stop me if I pass on it. So I'm going to start with just a couple here. I'm going to start with the bull flag. Bull flag, let's just see what we get here. Everybody likes to go mostly to the long side, and the market's kind of holding up. I'm going to blast through some of these charts and see if there's anything. Boy, there's a lot of them in there, isn't there? Wow, there's a lot of them. I'm going to go fast. Okay, this is not bad. I kind of like this one. It's a nice flag, and the reason I went through the sectors first is it's a mining stock. Okay, it's a commodity stock, and I think that it could be interesting if we do get this thing to come up out of this consolidation. We'll go ahead and just keep it conservative at those prior highs. We'll mark that up. I'm not looking for things that have run too far, and I'm probably not going to see that. AR has run too far for me, even though it's on the flag chart here. That's not enough consolidation for me. I want to see volume. I want to see a sector that makes sense. I want to see clean candles, not a lot of wicks. That's also a gold miner. Boy, there's a lot of names in here, man. I don't know if I can get through all those.
You can always move on to another.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
We'll get a flavor here for some.
We still need to clean that up a little bit. There's some sloppy stuff in there.
That's the point, yeah. You have to go through and really find things that are interesting. I'll do a few more here. What's this? Oh, mineral mining. Okay, minerals. Look at that. Doesn't do enough volume. I don't like the volume in that one. Too late. That's a chase.
That's not the intraday one, is it? Because well, no, I see some flag pattern, but
no, that FLR,
like
that floor.
Yeah. I know. But there seems like a lot in there.
Chart. All right, I didn't think we were going to have this many to go through, quite honestly.
Can you show Joseph how to get to the Market Explorer?
Yep.
When you get a chance.
We'll do it again. We just go to New. Then you look for the E, Market Explorer TIQ, TI Quant. It's all been done for you. So I'll move on. Can't see it under the new tab. Do you have the current version, Joseph? Make sure you have the most current version, and it should be there. It's possible if you have an older one, it might not. Server window. So we did bull strength, we did bull flag. Let's do the other one that I like that I had him build for me. Gap and pull back to the 10 SMA. Let's see if there's, much less here. Let's see if there's anything interesting in this one. Well, look at that, Agra. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say this is an agricultural. Nope, it's not. Growing systems. Oh, prefab metal building growing systems. Okay, so they've probably experienced some of the agricultural hype. I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'm gonna stay away from that one because I've already got a couple others. But you never know. Gosh, you never know. I don't know how I'd mark that one up either. Okay, so I'm not seeing too many on this one. Oh, now we're going way too far back. Okay, so now let's try a different server. Daily RSI divergence. No, let's see. Down. Closing range breakout. What's that? Nothing. There's nothing in there. Let's look at the RSI divergence long and see if there's anything that's downtrending. We'll pull up our RSI chart here and see if there's anything that looks like it might want to break its downtrend. No, not seeing a whole lot. Because guys, I'm just going through these for the very first time. Just seeing what's in there, and then we're going to lose some there. I know we're on the 18th. Okay. What else do you like in here, Andy? Is there anything else you like?
Let me see. Let's see. Gosh, we've added something. You might look at that that 3-strike long. A lot of times I find some really good ones in there.
Yes, and I don't believe that the Market Explorer is on the web version, is it, Andy? Is that the case?
No, that's the
Okay.
case.
Okay. Oops, I'm going to go back to my other chart. No. Kind of thought I'd see some more ideas.
Yeah, this one was okay. No, look at the dates. That's the problem. The dates on this should
Oh,
be
the
going
date's
back.
already
See,
gonna.
look at
Okay.
that on 315. That was a beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I'm gonna turn this off. And you know, I had some other ones. What was I gonna do? There was one that I liked. It was on your revenue growth fishing. Let's see if there's anything in that one. A lot of names. These are all going to be in pretty much downtrends, but they're solid companies. And I'm just looking for something that might want to try and make a move that hasn't already made a move.
I kind of like that shop. It's not
Shop,
bad.
yeah,
Had to
that
pull.
wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean, and that RBLX that wasn't above at the that. It's pretty interesting. It really hasn't
That
made a
wasn't
move,
bad,
but
yeah.
yeah,
That's an American stock? All right, we'll go ahead and mark that one up.
yeah. I mean, it's something that you can get to that 50, which would be a decent move, really.
Interesting.
But here's the thing about a lot of these technology stocks, because I've been playing them. Okay, it's like when you can have some great moves, but when the market turns, I've noticed, boy, they get hit the quickest. People are thinking, oh boy, these are going to go back to lows.
Okay, that's an interesting one, but it's a bio
Yeah.
stock. You got to stay away from that. Another pharmaceutical. Guys, if you want, I'm going to wind down here. You can start putting in some of the charts that you want to look at, and we can take a look at those as well. I'll pop this one in there as well. And I'll go through my A table there as well and see if I find anything of interest. But if you want us to look at a chart before we leave, we'll take a look at it and give you our unbiased opinion. Yeah, those all look the same. So let's go to an A table because I think there's a couple of interesting ones in the A table. I'm actually going to set Arch. I'm going to set Arch back down there for a pullback alert like we tried to do in Rig before. I think that would be interesting. This thing still has a giant short float.
I think really pullbacks at this after a big run like this, a lot of
Mhm,
times you'll have that morning scare, or where people are
mhm.
in pullbacks could be. As a matter of fact, I bought one today on the pullback, and I love the entry and
Which one did you buy?
EVGO.
EVGO?
Yeah, E is in
Oh,
Edward.
EVGO, that's right.
Right. I bought it on the 20 period right there when it
There
came
you go,
down. I
right
was
there.
watching it this morning.
Yeah,
Yep. And that's
yeah.
where I love it. That's where I've been making most of my money recently, is like on these pullbacks, man. Just a
Pull
lot
back
of
to the
people
20.
don't think that way, but boy, when you're right and it turns and reverses, you got a great entry. You can actually add to your position.
Yeah. Kalpesh, I stay away from biotech as a swing trader. I don't like taking biotech names home overnight. Just a little dicey because they can have really bad news when you can't get out. We'll take a look at these, and that's interesting. Well, guys, I kind of thought we'd have a bit more fun stuff to look at, but I'm just not really seeing a lot of things that are just jumping out at me like I was in the past. So not a whole lot to look at there. But that's,
You know what? That's probably a good thing, Steve. I mean,
yeah,
after 4 big green days,
exactly.
that just tells me, you don't want to
Yeah.
chase, and
You don't
then
want to chase.
no,
You want
and
to
you're
wait and
looking
see.
for decent
Are we going
setups.
to pull back? Are we going to go
Yeah.
sideways? Are we going to consolidate? So that's why I was looking for a lot of consolidation. But
Mhm.
what's the time frame for pre-built scan on Market Explorer? They're going to be daily. Those are going to be daily charts, Paramal. But I think he's going to also be starting to do some intraday stuff. Somebody looks like they saw these two scanners and they were curious about them. So we'll do pull back to the 50 SMA and pull back to the 20 and share those, and then we'll look at some charts. All right, I'm putting those in the chat window, guys, not the questions panel. That was the 50. We'll do the 20. I'll drop that in there for people who were asking about that. Okay. Pull back to 20. So we kind of learned that we can go through many, many charts, but you don't want to force things. You want to be aware of what the sectors are out there. You want to be aware of how extended a lot of sectors and charts are. But yeah, it's just not a whole lot jumping out, so you don't want to force it. All right, let's take a look and see. I think it was, so Dave, you got the first one. We looked at DBA already. That's the commodity, right? Okay. Holding up nicely for sure. ExxonMobil. Very much like those other charts, got way ahead of themselves like rig and just slammed back. But look at how it found that 50-day moving average. Pretty strong support there. Looks like it's trying to build off that 50. I wouldn't turn your back on these oil stocks. They still might have something in them, but they had a pretty nasty pullback. Costco, I'll be going there tomorrow. Costco's nice. I'd like to see it maybe flag and consolidate and wait for this moving average to catch up to it. Wow, is this thing 570? Wow, it's expensive. Didn't know that. Okay, you're welcome, Mike C. Calpesh wants to look at LABU. That's not bad. You know, I like that. And I'll tell you why. It's let's look at the RSI too. Look at the RSI. So this one, we do have some nice divergence. Look at this, lower lows, higher lows on the RSI. That's divergence. Now we've got this area that we've broken above, and we're just kind of hanging out above the two moving averages. I like it. I think you'd want to put, if you're not in it, I think you want to watch it and see how it reacts at the 50-day moving average. Biotech bull. So it's the biotech bull. So if the biotechs get going, then this thing will really have a nice move, it appears. Not a bad looking chart. CYRN has earnings coming up. March 24th, 2 days. Yeah, it's probably not going to resolve itself above this 200-day moving average until it does get earnings. I'm not familiar with this company. It looks like they've got a lot of action lately, but it can't get back above that 200-day convincingly. I think if it can close back above 920, then it's going to start looking good again. But right now, it's just kind of choppy and in no man's land. ZIM, what did you say? Pivot point. Let's see, did we have earnings? Why did it gap down today? Zim Integrated Shipping, did they have bad news? I don't really see why they had such a bad gap down. You'd like to see it hold this 20-day and not go down to the 50.
Where it bounced at, yeah. I mean, there is a little
right
pivot
there.
point.
You're talking about on the daily?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
That's, you know, close, high. Yeah. So that pivot point seems to be like 75. I'd call that a 75 pivot, roughly. We looked at Z. No, we did not look at Z. Just a lot of back and forth down here. Zillow Group, huh? Yeah. They're back above their moving averages. I'll give them that. But if they can come out of that consolidation, it could be something. ALG, we'll do a few more of them. This is a new issue. It's really hard to gauge the new issues. It's just not much data to go on there. So I don't really have an opinion on that one. If you want my whole layout, Aman, you can email us for that, and I can send you the whole layout. There's a lot of things in there that you might not need or understand, but that can be done. But go ahead and email us for that one. And all right, we'll do two more, one for David and one for Joseph. We'll do box for David, and then we'll bring Scott in. I get nervous when I see things that go back and forth like this. When they break out of that range, this is definitely one I wouldn't want to chase.
It is a very tough trading stock, no matter swing, but it's finally above that 28 level, so that's what you want to see it hold. Just keep closing above that 28 because that's what it's been fighting all last year.
Maybe in a couple days you'll get that action right there, sideways with a rising 10. And then last but not least, open for Joseph, open door. Big move right up into the 50-day moving average after a move off of lows, and I'm going to bet that was also a nice diverging low. It was with RSI, so it's possibly put in a nice base here. It may have expended a lot of energy getting up to the trend line in the 50. The first day that you can get back above the 50 and hold a close above the 50 is going to be the next good sign for that one. Wouldn't be surprised if it maybe goes sideways or halts or hangs out there for a little bit and digests before it moves higher. All right, guys, well, that's all we got today. Sorry we couldn't find some more good setups, but I mean, there really isn't much to share. All we really found was these, and I will share them because I promised. Arches from above, that's right, we're doing that one from above. So we're gonna share these 6 selected, copy, and I'll drop those in the chat window, price alerts, and we'll bring in Scott for any final announcements. Thank you all for your time, your comments.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. Let's hop over to the announcements. So before we let you go, let us remind you that you can use Brokerage Plus to connect with eTrade for $0 commission trading directly from Trade Ideas, and even automated if you choose. If you have a premium subscription, just go to trade-ideas.com/eTrade to learn all about that. We also connect directly through API with Interactive Brokerage through the Brokerage Plus module as well. You can learn more about that if you're already a brokerage, an Interactive Brokerage client, or if you want to become one, trade-ideas.com/IBKR. Go ahead and investigate them. They're one of the most reliable brokers out there. You can use the code MARCHON for saving 15% off your first month or year of Trade Ideas. You can use that to do an upgrade from standard to premium, or just join in with a new subscription and save. If you have any questions, email us info@tradeideas.com. That goes to our help desk. And you can find Steve on Twitter at TISTG. Also follow @Trade Ideas, @QuantPod, and we have some other handles you'll find when you get on there. And we have a YouTube at youtube.com/TradeIdeas, and we are Trade Ideas Pro on Facebook. So the recording of this will be up later on tonight or tomorrow, and you get an email reminder tomorrow about how to find it. Thank you, Steve. Thanks, Andy. Talk to you soon.
All right. See some of you tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.